I'm Vietnamese American, and as a former Vietnamese refugee, growing up after the war, I was always wondering about what had happened in the past. And since my family was directly affected by it, it took me decades and decades in order to be able to deal with this conflict head on. I actually found a photograph of my father in his uniform in front of his helicopter in one of the old airfields in Vietnam. So that started this whole investigation, and I felt that there was enough time and space that I could actually confront this conflict, learn about it, and discuss it with objectivity. So as you can see in this work, it's a 12-meter long wall diagram condensed with all these different details of the Vietnam conflict, all of which were actually seen through the lens of my father. I was basically doing an autopsy of this conflict, but at the same time, I tried to excavate a man's past. In this case, it was my father, who was a helicopter pilot for the South Vietnamese Air Force, flying for Mac Soc, doing top secret cross-border missions into Laos and Cambodia. For the first time, I am really dealing with the work that is very biographical of my father, who was shot down in Laos in 1971 and was taken away for 14 years. So for me, I mean, this is something that I've always wanted to delve into. So it was the right moment for me to learn about it and to study about it, not because this is the time where everyone pay attention, but also because it's, for me, it's enough distance that I could look into it with such clarity. The main important thing is not just about my family history, but how this one family history linked to the history of a nation and the history of the Cold War afterward. To top it up is the history of the refugees, the aftermath of the war, with millions of Vietnamese in comparison to the current refugee crises in Middle East and Europe. To me, unfolding one person's history in order to discuss something bigger has always been my goal.